guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Stacy. This is going to be my attempt at verse mapping a verse from Galatians, because that is the Bible book that our Christian book club decided to read for the month of August. I'm going to be using the James method to do this. If you don't know what the James method is, it's a program that this woman, and I cannot remember her name off the top of my head, but I've been following her forever on Instagram and Facebook. But she created worksheets and a system of verse mapping that's really easy and really interesting, and I just love watching her videos. I learn so much when she goes through it, and so I really wanted to try it. She sells a journal with the worksheets in it already, but the journal was sold out, but you can get the printable pages from her website. So that's what I did. I purchased the printables and I printed them out and I put them in just a regular white binder. So this was just the cover page, and then I put some stickers on it because I've been buying stickers a lot lately. So these are just some verses. But overall, this is what the verse mapping using the James method kind of looks like. You put a verse that you want to look into in the center bubble, and then you pick out certain words or phrases that you want to do like a deeper dive into. You put those words or phrases in these bubbles over here, and then you use Bible dictionaries, the lexicon, all kinds of resources to just learn more about the phrases or the words, and you put that information in here. Down here, it has a section for content: who wrote it, when, to whom, and why. And then it has this little section where you put other translations from other Bibles, because sometimes the words are different. And then she has a second page for the worksheet, and it has cross references. It has what this verse tells you about the views of God, views of man or self, reflection and application. And then it has a space for prayer if you want to write a prayer out for the verse. So that's basically the method that I'm going to be trying to do here. I've only done this once. I did a practice run through with another verse from Galatians. I'm going to pick a different verse this time to see if I get any better at it. I think I did this mostly right. I didn't finish it though. But this is what mine looks like. So I picked Galatians 5 through 13. Can you see that? I don't know. And then I wrote the verse out here, and that verse is, "For you have been called to live in freedom, my brothers and sisters, but don't use your freedom to satisfy your sinful nature. Instead, use your freedom to serve one another in love." I feel like for my first time, I might have picked a verse that's a little too long. Maybe I should have picked a shorter, simpler one, but it was okay. It worked out. So for this one, I picked the word called, and then I wrote called up here and the definition. And I picked freedom, and I wrote that there. Sinful, I put here. Nature, I put over here. Serve here, and love here. All this stuff over here is notes that I had taken while I was reading Galatians. I have a notebook that I was just writing a bunch of stuff down, so I transferred that over here because this stuff was important to me. Over here you can basically put anything you want. So then I filled out the content information. I put a King James Bible translation and an ESV translation. This original one was NLT translation. And then for the second page, I only got to the cross references part, so I filled in some of that stuff, and then I didn't finish this. So that's basically an overview of what I'm going to be attempting to do today. So today I wanted to work on Galatians 2:20. For this one, I'm going to use my ESV translation for writing the verse down in the center. Sorry if you can see my dog back here. I just gave her a treat, trying to keep her a little bit contained while I do this, because normally she's very much up in my face if I'm trying to do anything remotely productive. So I'm sorry she's chewing that in the background. But Galatians 2:20 says, "I have been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. And the life I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me." So I'm going to write this verse down in this big circle. All right, so we've got our verse right there. And now I have to go through and pick out words that I think are interesting that I want to do more research on. So I'm going to go with crucified. I'm going to color that word brown. I'm going to fill out any information that I find for this word up here, and I'm going to color this circle brown also, so you know that this circle relates to this word. One of the things I'm going to use for this is the Vine's Complete Expository Dictionary. This dictionary also gives you the location for the words in the Strong's Concordance. This is a beast. I did use this for the other verse. We'll see how much I get into this one for this time, but we're going to start with this. Okay, in this dictionary it says for crucify, see cross. Okay, this is interesting. It says for Galatians 5:11, it says where crucifixion is metaphorically used in the renunciation of the world that characterizes the true Christian life. So it says the renunciation of the world. So that's basically giving up the world, right? I think. And I'm also going to finish that sentence where it says that categorizes the true Christian life. So now that I got my little definition in there, I'm going to color this circle in brown to match the word, so you know they go together like so. So the next word I'm going to pick out is live. It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. So I'm going to color that one green. And for this word, I actually went to the Strong's Concordance to get a bit more information because there wasn't much for me to write down from the dictionary. So in this book, it has restoration after alienation, which I like a lot because it shows how we were alienated from God, and with Christ sacrificing himself for us, now we are restored. So I'm going to write that down in this box right here. It also has a little side note here that says to live means to experience that change. I'm going to put that down also. I like that as well. All right, so that is what I have for the word live. I'm going to color this box in green so you know that this goes with these words. Okay, now I'm going to use the word faith. We're going back to the dictionary on this one because this has this long bit here and over here for faith, so I think I can get something good out of this. Okay, for faith, I wrote down a firm conviction producing a full acknowledgement of God's revelation or truth, a personal surrender to him. There's a whole lot more on the word faith that I could put in here. If I wanted to, I could continue writing stuff for faith over here, and I would color this and whatever I wrote over here to match, so you know that this stuff goes with this. Okay, for faith, I'm going to use the color purple and color in my circle. I'm going to do one more, and for this, I'm going to use Son of God. For Son of God, I wrote down the sole object of the Father's love and the sole revealer of the Father's character. I feel like there's a whole lot more I could write for that also. And again, I would write that out over on the side and color that part pink as well. Okay, I'm going to stop there with the word study, and I'm going to move down into this section just to move things along. For context, it says, who wrote this book? Paul wrote it. And in the Study Bible, it said that this was one of the earliest writings of the New Testament, so I'm going to put that. And then to whom Paul wrote this, to the believers in Galatia. And why? Why did Paul write this? He wrote this because there were false teachers coming into the church claiming that you got justification through works such as circumcision and by following other Jewish laws, which is not the case. So Paul wanted to correct them. So over here it has space for the translations. I'm going to do the King James Bible. All right, I'm going to bust out my mom's Bible for this. Okay, after writing this out and comparing the two, I think they're really similar. I don't see any big differences or different words, really. Sometimes, depending on the translations, you do get differences in words, but not so much with this. I only had space to put one translation over here. If you have a smaller verse, you could put 2 translations. If you want to put more translations in other places, you can write them up here as well. But so far, this is all I'm going to put on this page. All right, now for the really fun part. I love cross references. I geek out on them. I think they're so fun. So for this, I'm going to go back to my ESV Bible, and the cross references are written right here. This is super tiny. I really need, what is it? Not a microphone, a magnifying glass. That's what I need. This isn't the Bible that I really read because the writing is so small, but it is a really good one. So let's see what we've got. So this has Romans 6:6. So let's see what Romans 6:6 says. Okay, this is so tiny. It says, "We know that our old self was crucified with him in order that the body of sin might be brought to nothing, so that we would no longer be enslaved to sin." Okay, well, that definitely does seem like a good cross-reference. So I'm going to write that down right here. Okay, I have more room here, so I could dig deeper into this and try to find other cross-references, but for time's sake, I'm going to stop there. So this next box says, "View of God." So what I get from this for God is that he loved me so much that he sacrificed his only son so that I can be joined to him, and all he asked in return is my faith in him. Okay, so I wrote, "God loved me so much he sacrificed his son for me and only asked for my faith in return for my salvation." And then over here it says, "View of man/self." So what do I think of man or myself from this verse? And I think that he put in work and effort. He died for me. And so therefore I have to put in work and effort, and I have to die to my old life and be born into my new life, which is work. And for some of us, it's way more work than others. And I'm talking about myself here. So yeah, that's what I'm going to put down for here. Okay, what I wrote is, "Since Jesus died for me, I also have to die for my old life of sin and be born again as a child of God." I don't know if you can notice from this view, but my handwriting definitely gets much worse the more I write, so just don't even look at that. And for this section for reflection and application, I wrote, "I have to put in work daily to avoid the trappings of my old life and to live Christ-like now." And then down here, it has a space for prayers. And for the section for prayer, I wrote, "Dear Father, please help me to avoid my old sins. Help me not to become enslaved to sin again. Help me to live for you by doing what is pleasing and good to you." Okay, guys, I'm sorry. This is so long. It's the longest thing I've ever filmed. I hope it turns out okay. I've never done anything like this before. I'm going to leave all the information for the James Method down below, her Instagram, her Facebook, her website. I've basically stalked her for like a year, watching all of her videos. She has tons of videos showing you how to do this process, and she goes over so many verses and gives you so many ideas of what you can do with these worksheets and all these different places you can get information from. It's just amazing. So yeah, if you're interested in that, please check her out. If you guys are into verse mapping, let me know what you do. Like, do you have a method? Do you use a certain thing? Do you go to a certain website or use a certain book? I would love to know. Just wanted to add also, I loved doing this month. I think this was such a fun, amazing idea to go through a book of the Bible all together. And I love seeing everybody talk about it and what they learned from Galatians. But anyway, that is all I've got for this video. I love you guys. I hope y'all have a great day, and I will see y'all soon. Bye. Look at this dog, everybody. Literally chewing on her treats the whole time I'm filming, and then as soon as I'm done, she climbs up on the couch and goes to sleep. Really? Oh my. Okay, that's all I got, guys.